Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening. Hey, I just want to talk about MS. Today, I made the decision on doing a platform of MS. I've been wanting to do this from the time I found out that I had it about 2 years ago. Two and a half years ago, I wanted to speak of it and talk about it, but I was too afraid to because I didn't want to really put my business out there. I was too embarrassed about it. But now I'm ready because I want when I tell you all my story, I'm being as real as I can be about it. Is it's dear to my heart. It's still fresh, and I still get a lot. I still get upset over it, but I gotta let this go and move on. So what I'm trying to do now, I'm trying to build a platform because I want you guys to see my everyday with this MS. I want people to take the journey with me. And I want y'all to see little bits of my day as I go on. So I don't know if I'm going to talk about it every day for like maybe 25 minutes to 30 minutes a day, but I'm going to talk about it until somebody hears me because I think that it's important that I get this message out to the world about MS. And the MS that I have is PPMS, which is called primary progressive MS. So my MS is progressing and it's getting a little worse, but I'm maintaining. And so right now, I just want to give you some information about me and how and when it started. And then maybe tomorrow or maybe Monday, Wednesdays, or Saturdays, I might speak of it. But when I'm off on certain days and I'm going out and taking journeys, I'll take you on the journey with me. But to start out for today is everybody know, 10 days ago I had COVID-19 and I just went back to work and it was a struggle for me. And I don't know if it was the MS acting up or I don't know if it was the COVID, you know, making me so tired today. But I was fatigued. I was out of breath. I was wore down. And everybody at work could see that I was struggling really bad. But I kept pushing through because I don't want this to defeat me. But I want to start talking about it now. So let me tell you who I am. My name is Shalom Williams. I'm from Baltimore. I was born and raised in Baltimore City. I went to city schools. I graduated from high school. And I have just a little bit of education in college. Not much, just community college. And that's about it. I have two children, two boys, which both of my boys are married. They gone on with their lives. You know, they have each one of my kids. One of my oldest son has one child, which is a girl. And then my youngest son, he has two children, which is a boy and a girl. And I really don't want to speak very much of them, but I am so proud of them. I want everybody to know my children are like my angels. And as long as I know that they're doing good, I'm okay. I really never speak of them because they're doing very, very well for themselves. I'm very proud of my boys. So moving forward, and I'm very proud of my grandbabies. My grandbabies are my heart. But on my journey, you'll see why I really don't interact with them as much as I used to anymore. And shame on me. But I'm trying to get my life back together. So I want to go back maybe 5 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago. I started noticing the symptoms that I was having. Maybe when I really started noticing was maybe 5 years ago. But I had got an MRI done back when I was 47. And they noticed that I had lesions on my brain back then. So that the doctor said, I had to have it back then, which I was at that time, I was 47 years old. So if he noticed the lesions at 47, and they didn't know, the doctor who did the MRI back then, I was having issues, but he didn't never tell me that the lesions that he saw was MS. He didn't know. He's a doctor that retired and moved on. The John Hopkins doctor saw that on my x-rays, that I had lesions way back then. So they knew that I probably had this long, probably in my 30s. So, but like I said, it didn't lead up to issues till about maybe 5 to 7 years ago. I started seeing problems on my right side. I was having problems walking. And on 12/20, 12/22/20 is when the doctors confirmed to me that I had MS, but I didn't know what type of MS I had. So after the holidays had passed back 2 years ago, they did spinal taps and MRIs and contrast and start just doing workups. Like they were giving me, they were running every test they could at this point, and then they were getting all the tests that I had that I knew of from all these different places I had tests, and they got all that information and they put it all together and realized that you have MS. So at that point, that's when my whole life changed, because I knew for the longest time I didn't know what was wrong with me. And I'm gonna tell you guys, a person that has MS, I spent so much money before I got an answer. And when I tell you guys, I spent for MRIs, for the insurance that I had through my job, and all the amount of money that I spent clearly just seeing all these doctors, over $8,000, to finally get an answer to every time I went to the doctors. They kept saying negative, nothing was wrong with me. And then finally on 12/22/20 is when I found out that I officially had MS. And that's when my life turned upside down from that point, because I had a diagnosis with what was going on. So I knew at that point I had an answer found, but I kept getting no answers for years. This went on for years, 5 years, 6 years, no answers. Nobody could tell me what was wrong with me until one day I go to John Hopkins, and that's when I got my answer. And then, like I said, my life completely changed. So my mom and dad, which both of them are deceased, none of my siblings have it. None of my children have it that we know of as of right now, and none of my grandkids have it. I'm the only one that has it. I don't understand how did I end up with it. And I always ask God, why me? But like I said, I'm going to write my platform every day or every other day to let you guys know how this all went down. And then once I got all that information that I was, diagnosed with MS, I was just really more shocked. I never been so shocked before in my life. Like, I went into an immediately depression, and it was very, very hard for me. But my question is, sometimes me and the doctors would talk, and my question was, if they knew that I had it for so long, what triggered it up, or triggered it off? Like, what made it just all of a sudden just come out in the open? Because according to them, I've had it for a while, and it just flared up. And I really honestly think, if I go back in those years, working the job that I was working in the position that I was in a very stressful position. And I really honestly believe that position was what brought that beast out, and that's what triggered it. So a lot of my symptoms was fatigue, tired, pain all over my body, diarrhea, I had trouble on my right side. Um, I was real foggy. What I mean foggy is I wasn't focused anymore. I couldn't stay focused anymore. I started to slow down. So those were some of the symptoms, but as I go on, I will tell you about more of the symptoms, but those were most of my symptoms. And I I'm a little choked up, but I'm gonna tell you, I start moving forward to get myself some help. You know, I went down to Johns Hopkins and my neurologist that I had first before I ever entered into the research center, because it took them about 8-9 months before I could even get into the research center. They had a research that was coming up, but I had to qualify in order to get into that research center. And I did qualify and I got in. And all the medicine that they gave me, the infusion, the only thing that I think works for me is the steroids. I don't feel like the infusion has done anything for me. I don't feel like it has. I just know how I feel every day. Now, when I speak of MS and what goes on, I'm speaking of it as what I'm going through. I can't speak for anybody else. And none of these doctors can speak for me either, because all they do is take information from me and information from other patients. But nobody can tell me how I feel, because this MS is running through me. And I'm the only one can tell this story. Nobody can come and say, oh, no, this ain't happening, that ain't happening. No. You can't tell me that, because this happens to me all day, 24/7. The only thing that they did say to me that I did have a little bit of rheumatoid arthritis, which was to me, when I looked at some of the tests, it was the bare minimum. I didn't have rheumatoid arthritis that was causing all this issues. But once I started studying MS and going online and looking at other, people's symptoms and stuff and reading up on it, and I realized, no, this is MS. I'm sure a little bit of the pain might be the rheumatoid arthritis, but most of it's MS. Okay? So the reason why I put this platform out here is I want to talk about this now, because I had this little man working on me every single day. I guess it's my inner conscience that would not let this rest. I kept putting it to the side. I'm not going to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. No, you're going to talk about it. And every time that I tried to erase it, it kept coming back to me. And it kept coming back. You got to talk about this. You got to talk about it. And I said, no, I don't want to talk about it. So I finally gave in after 2 years. And I said, you know what? It's time to talk about it. So I'm going to put this out. I'm going to start a platform. And the name of my platform, I had two. I'm not sure what I want to really call it. But the first one is called The Battlefield of MS. So the reason why I called it The Battlefield of MS is because my first choice was really to call it The Battle of the Beast of MS. But then I felt like a lot of people would get a little offended that I was being very negative because, oh, she's calling it the beast. But it is the beast for me, because when I speak of MS, every time that I speak of MS, I'm speaking of MS through me. I can't speak for nobody else. I'm only speaking of what I go through daily and every single day of my life. I want people to see, like today. So I'm going to call it the battlefield of MS. The battlefield of MS. Because to me, I've never been at war, but watching it on the TV is like I'm at war with myself. Like the pains hit 24/7. You guys might see me laughing, smiling, dancing, because I got to. I got to keep pushing through. Just the only way I'm surviving, and have the faith in God. But that's what it is. It's the battlefield of MS. That's the name of my platform, The Battlefield of MS. And guys, please don't be negative toward me, because I've been through a lot. I love to hear good comments, positive comments. If you're going to comment, please give me, good comments to keep me pushing through. Because this MS is a battle. And the reason why I'm taking you on the journey, because I didn't hear so many people who do have MS, stars and celebrities and other people. But I don't know if anybody has ever taken you on the journey that I go through every day. Like today, I'm in so much pain today. I could literally cry. But guess what I did? I came home and I'm washing dishes, because I want you to see what I do every day. I still wash dishes. And after I get finished washing dishes, then I'm going to lay down, because I'm done for the day, clean up the counters and go lay down. And that's it for the day. That's as far as I can go. Because I know I'm pushing my limits, because I've been working all day. Then I had to drive an hour to get home, an hour to go to work. And now to come home, wash dishes, because I had to clean out my refrigerator. Because when I had COVID, I couldn't eat the food. And every time I ate food, it was just nasty. So I just could not eat food because I had no taste buds. So I had to clean out my refrigerator. And, but like I said, every day I'm going to talk about it. I hope guys, please share this video. Share it. Please share it. I don't care. I want somebody to tell people about it. Share it. Because I got to tell my story now. I got to tell what's really going on with MS. You hear the doctors come in and tell you their part, oh, they got this, they got that, it's something on their brain and this and that. Oh, I know all of that. But it's coming through me. And it's one thing these doctors can't do. They can show me all their technology, all their books, and everything they want to say, because they went to school for it for 12, 13, 15 years, studied on it. But one thing that they don't have, that I have, is it's running through me. And I can only tell you how I feel with MS. They can't tell you. They only go by a book. I'm the real deal right here. I'm the real deal. I can tell you when I feel good. I tell you when I ain't feeling good. I can tell you when the MS is turned off. I can tell you when it's turned on. I can tell you it makes us stiff up. We don't even want to bend over, because it hurts so bad to bend over. We lose control of how we walk. We wobble. When I walk, I wobble. I walk so funny now. I used to be embarrassed about the way I walk, because I never walked like it. Yes, I was bow-legged, but I never walked the way I'm walking now. And for a while, I used to stay in the house for 2 years because I didn't want people to see me walking that way. But instead of me being embarrassed, I should have been blessed that God gave me the opportunity to still be walking. I'm not in a wheelchair yet. Yes, sometimes I do need a cane to walk. And sometimes I can't walk long distance. But I'm okay with that, because I'm still walking. And I'm standing. I'm in my kitchen right now, standing, washing dishes. I don't need no assistant with no cane right now, because I'm in my house. And do I fall sometimes? Yes, I trip over my own feet and fall. Yes, I do. And I hit the floor. And I get back up. These are the things that happen to us. Happen to me. Let me stop saying us, because I don't know what happens to these other patients. I only know what happens to me. And I can only hear the stories that people tell. We all tell the same story, but mine is just a little different. Mine's going to be raw. I'm going to give it to you like it is. I'm not sugarcoating it. And if I want to share tears that day, you're going to see tears come down my eyes, because that's how I feel. So I'm going to wrap this up, because I've been on here almost 19, 20 minutes. And I said I don't want to make it a long thing that, people don't want to continue to watch it. But please, whatever you do, please share this video. Talk about this video. Stomp up and down about this video. Tell people to please watch my video. Every day I want people to watch my video. I want y'all to watch my platform, please. For me. Do it for me. because I want people to see what I go through every single day. And I'm very passionate about what happened to me, and it's dear to my heart that maybe I can help somebody else. But in closing of this conversation, I'm not done. This is part one. I'm going to tell you every day or every other day about part two. Every day you're going to see me on this platform screaming and howling about MS. But before I close this out, I'm going to tell you about 3 blessings that I got today. So I talk about MS, but I did get blessings from God. One blessing that he gave me is he woke me up today. Okay? He woke me up and he got me to work. Okay? That was one blessing. The second blessing is he got me home. He got me through my day. This day that was the worst day ever. I was holding on, but God still had my back the whole time. And that's blessing number 2. And blessing number 3 is I'm sharing this information to you guys. I'm sharing my life. I'm opening up my life to you guys. I'm going to talk about my depression. I'm going to talk about what I went through. I'm going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff that's going to shock you a little. And I'm still standing. So those are my 3 blessings today. Is thank God that I have him right here in my right corner, in my left corner. He's all around me. And he's giving me the strength now to talk about it. And I even said to God, I said, what do you want me to talk about? And you know what he said to me when I was driving home today? Just talk about it. Just be yourself. That's all I want to see you do is be yourself. And tell the real thing. And don't be embarrassed. Because there's nothing to be embarrassed about. Because now you're talking about it. So you're bringing it to the forefront. And that's how I want to close, because now I'm at, 22 minutes. And I don't want to bore you guys. And like I said, I'm washing dishes. And I want to get myself prepared if I can get back to work tomorrow. But like every day, I might just pop in and say, hey, here's your, the battlefield. The battlefield of MS. That's what my platform's can be called, the battlefield of MS. And like I said, if anybody want to inbox me and ask me any comments, listen, I only take positive comments. If any negative comments come through, I'm just not going to answer. Okay? But if anybody needs help or anybody want to ask me questions about what I talk about, I'll be more gladly to give you any information that you need. Okay? And thank you guys so much for listening to me. And like I said, be blessed and be safe out there. And do me one big favor. Share this video as much and talk about it for me. Help me talk about it. I really appreciate it. And thank you guys for everything. And I'll see you guys later. Have a good day.